Hey good people, and welcome back to the channel. Over the course of this video, I'll be sharing my thoughts and feelings on episode 6 of Naked and Afraid XL Frozen. And during this review, I'll be providing an episode breakdown, as well as my thoughts on the important things that happen with each group, and I will end the review with an overall rating for the episode. So without any further delay, let's jump right in. Episode 6 follows day 13 and 14 of the challenge, with day 14 being the extraction day. The episode kicks off with cast members hearing a bunch of helicopters fly by while they were trying to sleep. And of course, hearing helicopters during these challenges while in the middle of nowhere and before the extraction day alarmed the cast members, as it should have, because we learned that a local man who lived nearby was killed by a grizzly bear. And of course the producers of the show visit the cast members to let them know what happened. Now I'll admit that I haven't seen every single episode of Naked and Afraid, but from the episodes that I have seen, I've never known of a cast member who was attacked or harmed by a wild animal. Now if I'm wrong, then feel free to correct me, but it seems like the show is just sharing this information for a dramatic effect. But we get to see the teams work together to catch food before their extraction. We also get to see the 4 remaining teams meet up during the extraction and form 2 big teams on their way to the extraction point. And all the remaining cast members meet up at the end, and they hug it out. So there were no tap outs during this episode. Now as I talk about the teams, I'll start with the team that had the highest FSR score from the last episode, and work my way down from that order. First, there's Sarah, Jermaine, and Wes. We learned that leading up to day 13, Sarah's crawfish trap didn't catch anything, but in this episode, her trap caught 2 crawfish, which I think was well worth the wait, considering that the team didn't have much to eat throughout the entire challenge. We see Jermaine and Sarah attempt to go hunting for food, but Sarah spots some hair on a branch that may be possibly from a grizzly bear, and they decide to stop their hunting efforts. But by the time the team is ready for extraction, their FSR score jumps from 71 to 76%. Next, we have Jake and Waz. We learned that the mouse trap that was constructed last episode was able to catch a mouse. Jake and Waz then decide to use that mouse as bait in Waz's crawfish trap, and they were able to catch 2 crawfish. While this accomplishment was a huge victory for the team, Jake continued to have issues with his feet, and he was seen by a medic. The medic was concerned because one of Jake's toes might have been infected, but Jake insists that he's going to finish the challenge, and the medic ultimately gives him the green light to finish. But the team's FSR score lowers from 62% to 58%. Next, there's Gabby and Kai. There's really not much to talk about Gabby and Kai for this episode. I mean, they spent most of their time prior to the extraction making the spear to defend themselves against the grizzly bear. But in my opinion, this was a huge waste of time, because there's no way that the show would allow its cast members to get mauled by a grizzly bear. And if by some chance the show was careless enough to do that, then that little spear that Gabby and Kai made wouldn't do much against a fully grown, hungry bear. But prior to their extraction, their FSR score jumps from 59% to 67%. And lastly, there's Jeremy and Trish, or shall I say, Jeremy and his shadow. Because throughout this episode, Trish was always one step behind Jeremy, and it seemed like she really didn't contribute much to what they had going on. Jeremy was the one who caught the fish, and he cooked it for the both of them. And Trish had the nerve to claim that they were a team of 2. But throughout this entire challenge, Trish presented herself as that one kid in school who you didn't want to be stuck with on a group project, because that one kid would do the least amount of work while earning the same grade as everybody else. But prior to their extraction, their FSR score jumps from 48% to 61%. Now overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I will give episode 6 a 5. To me, it was a bit of a letdown because of how predictable it was. And I also question whether the teams actually caught those crawfish, or if the show gifted them those crawfish because of how hard the challenge was. But as a series, I liked Frozen, but I didn't love it. I still believe that this type of challenge is next to impossible for most people to complete without some sort of intervention from the show. But if I had to give an individual MVP award to one cast member, I would give it to Jeremy. He was essentially a one-man team, and he had to carry Trish on his back for most of the challenge. He had to finish building the shelter by himself, and all the food that the team ate was caught by him. I think the team that had the most promise was Sarah, Jake, and Waz, because of their ability to improvise, hunt, and survive each obstacle that came their way. If I were on the show, The one team that I would definitely want to be part of is Kai, Gabby, and Joe. Kai and Gabby have a ton of experience, and they know how to hold their own out there. And I view Sarah, Jermaine, and Wes as a team that was the most improved. They always faced new obstacles, but they always found a way to overcome them, and they were the only team to complete the challenge with all its members. But I've enjoyed reviewing Season 9 of Naked and Afraid XL, and I look forward to reviewing more Naked and Afraid content in the future. So this marks the end of the review. If you have any questions or comments about the review or this episode, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to reply to each and every comment. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.